Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Да? Что нам надо делать?
Jaya Radha Dava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Dava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Girivardhari Yasodhanandana Vaja Jana Ranjana Vaja Jana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Vaja Jana Ranjana Jana Vaja Jana Ranjana Jamuratera Vanajahari Jamuratera Vanachari Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Girivardhari Yashodhanandana Vaja Jana Ranjana Jana Ranjana Jamuradera Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo Jayam Vishnu Paramahams Rajakataya Asto Sati Divine Loving Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Gauta Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Nam Bachar Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Nitya Gaura Premanandi Hari Bo. All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, so welcome once more. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I just
Hare Krishna.
sorry, I just missed the beginning of the program. So I'd like to welcome everybody to the Sunday program at Karuna Bhavan. And today our special guest at the Sunday program is His Grace Murli Manohar Prabhu, who is a head pujari for Radha London Ishwara Temple, which the deities of Radha London Ishwara Temple are Srila Prabhupada's most favorite deities. As we know from historically, he had a very fond affection for these deities, and Murli Manohara has been worshipping them for at least a couple decades or something, approximately, or more.
30 years or so.
30 years, 3 decades. So let us very warmly, enthusiastically welcome Murli Manohara Prabhu to the Sunday program with 3 loud Haribols. Haribol! 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 Gauranga. He's giving a talk on Bhagavad Gita today.
Yes, Bhagavad Gita. I'll read from chapter 2. Before we begin, let's chant together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yeah, chapter 2, text 8. 2:8. We can have it behind us. We repeat together, yeah, as normal. Yeah. Chapter 2 takes it. Nahi papashyami mama panuyat yat chokamo choshinam indriyanam avapya bhomo ashapnam ridam rajam shuradam api chapi padyam nahi papashyami ma bhanuyat Pramashmame ma bhanano yat chokamo choshinam indriyanam avapya bhomo ashapnam ridam rajam shuranam api chati padyam nahi papashyami mamapano yat Nami panapanamo yat chokamo choshanam indriyanam avapya bhomo apashapnam ridam rajam shuranam api chati padyam. Ready? Someone else? Oh. Nahi papashyami ma papanu yat Shasham Indianam Vapapomanam Rajam Suranamam Vichati Papadyam Nahi Papashyami Ma Bapanuyat Yachokamo Choshanam Indriyanam Avapabomo Ashabnam Ridam Rajam Suranamapi Chati Padyam. And on ladies' side, I'd like to do. Nahi papashyami mama panuyat chokshana shri indriyanam midam rajam shurnamapi chati padyam. Okay, let's do the word to word and translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Na, do not. He, certainly. Papashyami, I see. Mama, my. Apanudyat, can drive away. Yat, that which. Sokam, lamentation. Uchoshanam, drying up. Indriyanam, of the senses. Avapya, achieving. Bhomo, on the earth. Ashapatnam, without rival. Hridam, prosperous. Rajam, kingdom. Suranam, of the demigods. Api, even. Cha, also. Adipadyam, supremacy. So translation reads as follows. I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. So repeat together. I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like demigods in heaven. And purple, bit of a lengthy purple, couple of pages. So let's hear from Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Although Arjuna was putting forward so many arguments based on knowledge of the principles of religion and moral codes, it appears that he was unable to solve his real problem without the help of the spiritual master, Lord Shri Krishna. He could understand that his so-called knowledge was useless in driving away his problems, which were drying up his whole existence, and it was impossible for him to solve such perplexities without the help of a spiritual master like Lord Krishna. Academic knowledge, scholarship, high position, etc. are all useless in solving the problems of life. Help can be given only by a spiritual master like Krishna. Therefore, the conclusion is that a spiritual master who is 100% Krishna conscious is the bona fide spiritual master, for he can solve the problems of life. Lord Chaitanya said that one who is a master in the science of Krishna consciousness, regardless of his social position, is the real spiritual master. Kipa Vripra Kipinyasi Sudra Kena Noi Ye Krishna Tattva Veti Se Guru Hoy. It does not matter whether a person is a Vipra, learned scholar in Vedic wisdom, or is born in a lower family, or is in a renounced order of life. If he is a master in the science of Krishna, he is the perfect and bona fide spiritual master. Quote from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 8, text 128. So, without being a master in the science of Krishna consciousness, no one is a bona fide spiritual master. It is also said in the Vedic literature, Satkamo Nipano Vripro Mantra Tantra Visharataha Vaishnavo Guru Nyasat Vaishnava Swapacho Guru. Quote, a scholarly Brahmana expert in all subjects of Vedic knowledge is unfit to become a spiritual master without becoming a Vaishnava or expert in the science of Krishna consciousness. But a person born in a family of a lower caste can become a spiritual master if he is a Vaishnava or Krishna conscious, from the Padma Purana. Unquote. Problems of material existence, namely birth, old age, disease, and death, cannot be counteracted by accumulation of wealth and economic development. In many parts of the world, there are states which are complete with all facilities of life, which are full of wealth and economically developed. Yet the problems of material existence are still present. They are seeking peace in different ways, but they can achieve real happiness only when they consult Krishna or the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, which constitute the science of Krishna, through the bona fide representative of Krishna, the man in Krishna consciousness. If economic development and material comforts could drive away one's lamentations for family, social, national, or international inebrities, then Arjuna would not have said that even an unrivaled kingdom on earth or supremacy like that of the demigods in the heavenly planets would be unable to drive away his lamentation. He sought, therefore, refuge in Krishna consciousness, and that is the right path for peace and harmony. Economic development or supremacy over the world can be finished at any moment by the catalysms of material nature. Even elevation into a higher planetary situation, as men are now seeking on the moon planet, can also be finished at one stroke. The Bhagavad Gita confirms this. Kshine punya mata lokam vishanti. Quote, when the results of pious activities are finished, one falls down again from the peak of happiness to the lowest status of life. Unquote. Many politicians of the world have fallen down in that way. Such downfalls only constitute more causes for lamentation. Therefore, if we want to curb lamentation for good, then we have to take shelter of Krishna as Arjuna is seeking to do. So Arjuna asks Krishna to solve his problems definitely, and that is the way of Krishna consciousness. In purple. Om Gana Timarandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare. Let's read the verse again. Nahi papashyami manopanoyat yachukta mochoshnam indriyanam avapya bhomo shapnam bridam vajashuranam api chati patyam. I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it, even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Bhastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachaline Nivasesha Shunyavari Pashtatara Satane Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So, first of all, it's very nice to be here in Scotland again. I was here last year. I was privileged to be here for November last year. So we've been here a few days. So we had having a very wonderful time here. We head back down to London on Tuesday morning. So thank you for everyone's association. Very wonderful place to be. And Bhagavad Gita, as we know, anyone not heard of Bhagavad Gita here? I'm sure no hands will go up. Oh, no, you heard of Bhagavad Gita. Anyone here for the first time? No? Anyone here for the last time? No one put a hand up, so that's good. It's a good sign. Yeah. So there's there's much advice to be sought in life or in the material world about how to alleviate our anxieties, how to alleviate our grief, how to alleviate our disappointment. Yeah. And this is the nature of the material world. It has happiness, but generally it's full of anxiety. Yeah, we have these happiness and distress. Yeah, so the natural quest, we find a natural quest in life, even if one is not on the path of Krishna consciousness, is to find some type of shelter, yeah, some type of relief, some type of relief, some type of shelter, some type of answers. Yeah, we make another a peculiar or part of this material world. Again, we make so many different plans, and basically our plans revolve around creating a perfect situation, yeah, where there's going to be no grief and no anxiety. Yeah. But interesting is that the soul is trying to seek out that place or that situation where there is no grief or anxiety. So that indicates the spiritual nature of the jiva. Yeah. As we're learning from Bhagavad Gita and we learn from Srimad Bhagavatam. Should we do translation? Okay. Shall I speak a bit slower? Oh, it's okay. Okay, all right. So we translate as we go. Huh? Okay. So we see that we have a natural inbuilt tendency is to seek a comfortable situation, is to seek happiness. Yeah. And what we're trying to seek, interestingly, cannot be found here. We are looking in the wrong place. Yeah. But without knowledge, the conditioned soul keeps on looking, keeps on looking, keeps on hoping, and keeps on trying. Yeah. Again and again and again. Yeah. And as we also learn from Bhagavad Gita, that it's not just in this one lifetime. Yeah. 8,400,000 species of life the soul evolves to get to the human form of life. Yeah. And the Vedic scriptures also in Bhagavad Gita describes that we have been chasing this illusory dream of happiness in the material world for countless billions and billions of lifetimes. The word is used immemorial, which means you cannot trace out. It means you cannot trace out the history of our sojourn in this material world. Yeah. So you can just imagine someone who, let's say, Prabhupada gives the example of countries that are economically well developed. Yeah, so the countries that are economically well developed, then the illusion from those who are not economically well developed is that everyone there is happy. Yeah. They see the means for becoming free of stress and anxiety as material. But Arjuna is very intelligent. He is concluding his existential crisis is such that, I don't even translate that word, as such that he actually knows, even if I win, described there, a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth, with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. You translate that he will not be happy. Yeah. And we may even be to one degree or another, even as devotees, we may even be convinced of the same. Yeah. Presently, I have a 1-bedroom house. If I get a 2-bedroom detached house, oh yeah. Yeah. Presently, I have this job, but if only I had that job, then I'd be happy. Or dare we say, presently I have this wife. If only I or the other side, presently I have this husband. If only I had that husband, then surely everything would be just right. Yeah. This is part of the illusion of the material world. When a young man sees a young woman who he's attracted to, he thinks, that'd be my life will be happy forever. And vice versa. Lady sees a wealthy man Oh, if I want to get married to my girlfriend, then I'll be no stress. That's it. Yeah. But what Arjuna is saying, or that Arjuna is teaching us, Arjuna is convinced. He's saying to Krishna, I will not be happy. Yeah. Yeah. So this should give us some type of relief, actually. It doesn't matter where we live, what type of job we have, what type of job we don't have, whatever our material situation is, in one sense, it's not relevant to our happiness. Yeah. Having said that, if we're placed in a very, very difficult material situation, that situation may make it hard for us to develop Krishna consciousness. So we try and in the Srimad Bhagavatam, I'm just reading the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and there's wonderful instructions at the end of this canto, at the end of the 7th canto, about ideal family life. Or it speaks not just family life, but brahmachari life, grihastha life, vanaprastha, and sannyas life. Yeah. And one of the repeated instructions that is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there in 7th canto, is whatever our situation, we need to keep it simple. We need to keep it as simple as possible. Of course, that's not always easy. Yeah. The gross materialistic concept or life is very, very complicated. Yeah. So the principle we are taught from the Srimad Bhagavatam is that the foremost goal for a devotee is to develop pretty affection for Krishna. Yeah. To develop Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So that means we have to, again, as we was explaining, we have to accept our lot, accept what we have now, and not become like a materialist who wants more, 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 is never satisfied, never satisfied. Yeah. We should just accept what's our lot, that's our karma. And then from that point on, okay, this is it. This is what Krishna has given me. Now let me use the rest of my energy and the rest of my time in falling in love with Krishna, developing my affection for Krishna. Yeah. Yeah, one should set aside those things which are set for his quota, not accept others, knowing well to whom they belong. We should accept what is our quota. It's from Isha Upanishad. Yeah, even there's a verse, I've read it before and I read it again just yesterday in the 7th canto. Perhaps it needs some explaining, but there's a verse that says, a devotee should never endeavor for economic development. Even if you don't have any money. How to work that one out? I think it's saying basically we should not be like the materialist. We should learn to live simply. It doesn't mean we live in a tent somewhere or we live in a cave. No, we have to have some shelter. We have to have a situation which is comfortable. We have to have a situation that's comfortable. Otherwise, it's very difficult, again, to sit down and chant Hare Krishna for us and generally. Yeah. So then a question might come, but how do we know what is, because what is one person's quota is not the same as another person's quota. Again, back to this example of our living situation. We may be in a block of flats. We may live in a block of flats. Is this my quota? Or is my quota a house on the hill? What is my quota? Yeah, no, we will address that. But first, how do we know what's, again, so how do we know what's our karma? If you want to know what's your karma, if you're interested, anyone interested to know what's your karma, when you get home, look out the back window. Look out the front window. Look at your wife, look at your husband, look at your children. That's your karma. That's it. Yeah. Karma is something that just what you've earned from a previous life will fall into your lap. It comes to you without stress and anxiety. Your particular living situation comes to you by dint of your previous activities. Yeah. Yeah. Materialistic society will convince you and force you to never be satisfied with your karma. Yeah. Never be satisfied with what is set aside as your quota. Yeah. And we'll see that if you see there's advertisements and of a better life, you can I think you get the idea. Yeah. So it's very easy to get caught out, isn't it? Even as devotees, it's very easy to get caught out in the materialistic life, living. Yeah. So I remember I was trying to live by this principle of being satisfied with what I have. I'm trying to. And to give an example how I was tricked by the material energy. I had my iPhone. I think it was number 4 or 5, I forget now. And in London on the tube, there's these big 40-foot posters. This big, with the new iPhone. And I've got my iPhone. I'm looking at, no, I've got my phone. I don't want it. I'm okay. But then I got brainwashed. Gradually, every day I go, everywhere I look, there be these massive big posters. In London, they have these big neon advertisements, like you go to Piccadilly Square and they're like 100-foot by 200-foot iPhone. So, and I became convinced that I absolutely need the next iPhone. My life, I cannot exist without the next new iPhone. Yeah. So I became fooled. Yeah. I became tricked by the material energy. Yeah. Of course, I became tricked by Mac as well, because they make it in such a way. Oh my God. Yeah. But you get the idea is that it doesn't mean we all have we should all like live like brahmacharis. It's not, we're not actually saying that. But we should understand that how do we know if we're over endeavoring? That's the point. How do we know if we're over endeavoring and trying to obtain that which is beyond our reach, which is beyond our karma? Yeah. And that's something that materialistic people do not know. They do not understand these principles. Yeah. So it's very sad. Again, it's very subtle, difficult to for people to grasp. Somewhat, I mean, I know one friend of mine, he's a devotee. He was a brahmachari. Now he's married. and he's been trying to make £1 million for the last 27 years. He's convinced he's gonna break through in some business deal. That's it. He's gonna make it rich. And every time I see him, we have a bit of a joke. So how's it going? And then he tells me this horror story. He had this deal, and he was just about to get this deal, and they're just about to get a big boatload of clothes from Africa and make this deal here, make that deal there. Yeah. And then this man came along and he did this and he did that, and I lost everything. So actually, at least he has, he has enough Krishna consciousness to actually laugh at his own efforts. Yeah. But so how do we know what is actually beyond our, if we're trying to get what is beyond what is set aside, is if we have less time to chant the holy name, we have less time to associate with devotees, we have less time to go to the temple, etc. Yeah. If we find that our material endeavor is now meaning that we are chanting less quality rounds, maybe less quantity, we might conclude that we are over endeavoring. Yeah. So it's a big, it's a choice that we have to make, and we're etching out our way in this material world. Especially if we're young or not even, we're etching out our way in this material. What type of job we're going to get? What type of family, children, etc. Yeah, we should plan it in such a way that we can have Krishna consciousness, that we have quality time. Yeah. Because to develop Krishna consciousness takes quality and quantity time. Yeah. It's not something you can just shove in when you get back from work. It's not enough time. It would take longer. Yeah. We don't say don't go to work. We have to go to work. Yeah. You have to go to work. Yeah. So we have to work to maintain our situation. Yeah. But friend, we have an example of someone in London. She's retired now. She's one of our heroes in London. She distributes books. She's 70 something. She's got grandchildren. And she distributes books on Oxford Street. And often she does more than all the brahmacharis. But now she's retired. But before she was retired, she worked for some type of chemical factory, chemist. And if you see her hands, you could tell where she's all with chemicals, all kind of damaged, So she spent that. But she was very, very good at her work. Turned up on time, behaved nice, politely with the boss, no problems and like that. And she did well at work. Yeah. So she was, one day they brought her into the office, the boss brought her into the office. And he laid out promotion. He laid out the promotion. I see this here, you're working here now, you could be working here. You have this amount of money here, and you could be having this amount of money here. You're doing very well in our business. We want to offer you this position, promotion. It sounds, even the sound promotion sounds, promotion. But then she looked at the timings of, she looked at she analyzed what will be required of her. Yeah. Okay. And what it would mean, it wouldn't mean like before. Her job was quite clear. I start at this time, I finish at this time. But this promotion would mean she's on call anytime. practically 24 hours, because she's going to be earning this much. And then one thing is tempting, because if you're earning this much, that means she can get a big, oh, I can buy this, I can buy that. Yeah, so it's great. But she saw, no, actually, I'm going to get more money. And if you get more money, you can do more things. You can buy more things. But she's Krishna conscious. So she said, no, I don't want that. Yeah. I don't care if I'm sharing a bench with 5 people. I'm not going to get the separate office and everything like that. Yeah. Because it would interrupt with her book distribution. It would interrupt with her service. Yeah. 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 So that's what Arjuna, so we need to keep that in mind, that what's going to make us happy. Prabhupada was reading a lecture where Prabhupada gives on this verse. It's not the material arrangements around us. It's not sense gratification. What's going to make us happy is how yeah. That's it. If we can chant good quality rounds, that means we're coming in contact with Krishna, and we're developing our original affection and love for Krishna. Yeah. You can be in a very simple material situation. Yeah. A bedsit, say, in Glasgow or whatever it may be, or in Tooting in London. A very simple situation. But you can be more content than who's the big man at the moment? Musk. What's his name? Elon Musk. Is that his name? Elon, sorry. I got his name wrong. Famous person. You could be more happy than the richest person on the planet. Yeah. You could be more happy than the king of Saudi Arabia. Yeah. And we should be convinced of this. Yeah. So many well-to-do materialistic people, if you dig around a bit, you can dig up lots of horror stories and so much stress, yeah, that they actually go through. Yeah. So, Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments on these? It's 20 past, and we go to Harper. Yes, please punch it up for Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I'm just wondering, in terms of, we understand we have our quota in terms of material assets, but in terms of health, if you could explain perhaps how much we should focus on trying to care and improve for our health because we see it as necessary for service, and how much we should accept, okay, I have this certain body, it has these defects, it's always going to fail
Act for self-preservation. You want to translate it? We should act for self-preservation. We should act to take care of the self, the body. You okay? Yeah. But there will be a point in our life that no matter how much juices you take, how much vitamins you take, how much yoga you do, you're not going to get better. No doctor's going to be able to help you. We should be able to recognize that situation, and depends on the specific circumstances. We may just have to live it out and tolerate it, despite what. I say this in regards because there's, devotees do get things like cancer, as we all know. Devotees get sick, And as you see, the first beginning stages, the devotees will try this, that. Okay, let me go to South America. Let me go here. There's this treatment here, that, this here. Let me try that. And we should always act for self-preservation. Obviously, we should always try and heal thyself. But there may be a point when, despite trying everything, you ain't getting better. Yeah. Just like Kadamba March presently. That's it. No more hospitals for him. No more doctors. The only thing for him now is the medicine of the holy name. That's it. You know, I've tried everything. You know, this is Krishna's arrangement. Yeah. So, in answer to your question, we should act for self-preservation. We should stay healthy so that we can serve Krishna. But again, we should, even if we're not facing our end, even if it's before that time, we should also make sure we're not going over the top. Yeah? We should make sure we're not going over the top and becoming, say, instead of becoming, you know, we practice bhakti yoga. Bhakti, I mean, I do yoga myself. I haven't done it for a few days, but I try to do yoga. I try to stay healthy. But I have to be careful. Sometimes I watch this man, he does his yoga, and I found myself watching yoga competitions. Well, that's it. I've got to pull back now. I just wanted to keep fit. You see, you go over you start getting interested in yoga or what asanas they're doing, or you can easily get, go down. Or some devotees may start doing weights, Then they start looking at their muscles. Start entering into bodily concept of life, So we have to, you understand, we have to move in this material with great intelligence. We have to stay healthy. But what is it Bhaktisiddhanta said that even, I forget now, but better be sick and have Harinam rather than be healthy and have no Harinam. Yeah. So we have to be careful how we tread regards our health and make sure we have to do what's needful. And different devotees, it'll be different for different devotees. So we shouldn't be judgmental. If you see a senior or another devotee doing this and doing that and doing this for himself, we shouldn't be judgmental. No, he may need it for his or her health. Yeah. So we should be very careful. But that's a good example of how we can get deviated from Krishna consciousness. Yeah, we can see. Does that help? So we should act for self-preservation, act for our health, but we don't want to become as I said, we practice bhakti yoga, but we don't want to make sure we end up just doing yoga. We want to stay on the path of bhakti. Okay. Yes, please.
Question. So sometimes devotees might want to over endeavor for a certain period of time in the hope that, okay, maybe I can sacrifice a bit of time now and make some money in the hope maybe to travel to Vrindavan or to further engage in spiritual life. So is it justified in this case to neglect some parts for a limited period of time to acquire something, to invest sort of thing in spirituality again?
I see, be careful. Be very careful. You're walking on thin ice. Just be careful how you do that, You should maintain, you should have something that you don't go under. I don't go under 16 rounds. I don't go under hours reading. I don't go under visiting the temple every week. I'm not going, I don't care. I'm not going under that. You should have something you don't. Also, but look out as well. I know one man in London, very successful, wealthy person, and he gave his he was a banker, and he worked and worked for years and years and years to get the house for the family, for the kids. He practically didn't see his children for 25 years. There was no, and he regrets that. Okay, we've got the house, but now how much quality time did he spend with his children? And now his children are seeing that in his father. And it's interesting, now the children, they don't want to go the same route as their father went through. They want to spend more time with Krishna consciousness. So I'm just saying you have to, you're flying, you're sailing your own boat, so you got to make sure that you're not, just make sure, okay, you're going to work hard and do some overtime for this, but don't sacrifice your Krishna consciousness for anything, Yes, please, yeah.
A desire to do something to further their Krishna consciousness, or to, for instance, visit Vrindavan, that Krishna will facilitate that without the over endeavor being necessary.
Yeah, let's hope it's like that. Yeah, Krishna's there, Krishna's helping the devotee. So again, we should over endeavor, but only for Krishna. Yeah, we should over endeavor. So you have to kind of see, yeah, it's a good point you're making that. Krishna, yeah, if it comes easy, then it's Krishna's arrangement, Yeah, so you see, it's going to be different for everyone, yeah, of how. But the main thing is to keep the main thing. So, so the decisions you make in your life is what's going to make you and the family more Krishna conscious. Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments on these points? Okay, keep it simple. Yeah. This is because we have a mission. What's our mission is to, yeah, we're not staying around here in this material world. So it's just like if you're going, like me and the Sringavatra have been traveling, different. Sometimes we're in one place for 2 days and then on a train again and moving. Yeah. So therefore, when we get to one temple, we're not going to set up base for like too long. So it's going to be quite simple. As we get to the place where we stay, we just put out a little altar and things like that. Why? We're going on the spiritual world. No, we're going to the next temple. That's the idea. We should keep that in mind. No, we got our goal. Our Param Gati is the spiritual world. So we have to be unspeaking about grossing, but also subtle things. What are we exposing ourselves to? What are we becoming attached to? Subtly, even in this material world. That's why we want to spend quality time hearing and chanting about Krishna's pastimes, and we want to develop thoughts and emotions that are completely with Krishna. The pretty and love and affection and thoughts and emotions that are with Krishna. Yeah. For instance, if we expose ourselves to 1 degree, a small degree, or big degree, or whatever, some devotees we may get sidetracked by watching all mundane movies. Let's get sidetracked all these movies. But then we're developing. What are we subtly? We're tuning into material emotions and material aspirations, and that will, in that sense, that will take away our determination for Krishna. So we have to. You understand? We have to be very careful how we move about in this material world. Yeah, that's why we should, as much as possible, we should always visit the temple as much as possible. Like now, you have Sunday feast now, isn't it? Before you're having it now, every week, develop affection, attachment to devotees. Yeah. So at the time when we do have to leave this world, which we will at some point, when that time will come, there's nothing else in our heart and mind except Krishna. Yeah? Krishna's devotees, Krishna's pastimes. Yeah. So that we have to organize our life accordingly. Yeah. Yeah, just on this point, just like if someone, if someone's at a bus stop, someone's at a bus stop and they say that a bus stop, and then they put a carpet down, they get a cupboard, they put their clothes, and they get a washing machine. It's a bus stop. You're only going to be there for a few minutes. What's the point? I'm not saying you shouldn't have a washing machine and a carpet, but you understand the point is that we have a goal, so we have to kind of, if we really have a mind set on the goal, then that should affect the decisions that we make in our life. And it's not as if we're going to be missing out. We're not going to be missing out. As I said, by Krishna consciousness, we can be more content and more peaceful than the most wealthiest person on the planet. You know, as if someone who's Krishna conscious is actually the most wealthy person. Yeah, they're the most wealthy. Yeah. Okay, some food for thought for Sunday. Thank you for joining us. Hare Krishna. We stop there. Okay, Gantara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Bo, Hare Krishna. Some announcements are coming. Hare Krishna.
Thanks very much to Murli Manohar Prabhu for this wonderful class. So next we will have a nice bhajan by Prabhu. Last week we prayed for the mercy of Lord Nityananda, and this week we will pray for the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it's a special bhajan dedicated to Lord Chaitanya, a very famous one that you will recognize in a minute. Hare Krishna.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Dishatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauram Bhakta Vrinda Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karamori Toma Bina Ke Doyalu Jagat Sangsari Patita Pavana Hetu Tavavatara Mosamapatita Prabhu Napai Beara Aha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa Balokana Karo Ami Poro Dukhi Toya Koro Sitapati Advaita Gosai Tava Kripa Bale Pai Chaitanya Nitai Gaura Prema Maya Tanu Pandita Gadadhar Srinivasa Haridasa Toyara Sagar Aha Swarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunat Hatha Juga Shri Jivaha Prabhu Lokanath. Toya Koroshi Acharya Prabhu Srinivas Ramachandra Sangamage Narottama Das. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Toya Koromore Toma Bina Ke Doyalu Jagat Sangsare. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Koromore Toma Bina Ke Doyalu Jagat Sangsare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hari Hari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Kodani Tai Jaya Mayapur Shashi Jaya Kodani Tai Jaya Mayapur Shashi Jaya Shri Tulsinath Jaya Shri Tulsinath Jaya Shri Tulsinath Jaya Shri Tulsinath Jaya Giridhari Lal Jaya Giridhari Lal Jaya Giridhari Lal Jaya Giridhari Lal Jaya Nrsingadev Nrsingadev Jaya Nrsingadev Jaya Nrsingadev Jai Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shishikot Nitai Mai Poshashi ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees.
Read the translation. Translation to what we just sang. My dear Lord Chaitanya, please be merciful to me. Because who can be more merciful than your Lordship within these three worlds? Your incarnation is just to reclaim the conditioned fallen souls. But I assure you that you will not find a greater fallen soul than me. Therefore, my claim is first. My dear Lord Nityananda, you are always joyful in spiritual bliss. Since you always appear very happy, I have come to you because I am most unhappy. If you kindly put your glance over me, then I may also become happy. My dear Advaita Prabhu, husband of Sita, you are so kind. Please be merciful to me. If you are kind to me, naturally Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda will also be kind to me. Gaura's love embodiment is shown by Gadadhar Pandit, Srinivas Pandit, and Haridas Thakur are the ocean of mercy. O Sarup Damodar, personal secretary of Lord Chaitanya, O six Goswamis, O Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, O Lokanath Goswami, my beloved spiritual master. Narottam Das also prays for your mercy. O Srinivasacharya, successor to the six Goswamis, please be merciful to me. Narottam Das always desires the company of Ramachandra Chakravarti. Hai Gaura Parivrindi, Hari Bol. Wonderful translation. What's next?
So next we'll have some kirtan by Krishna Kishore Prabhu. If everybody could stand up and make some space, please.